are you guys? Oh, I forgot my questions. 1 second. Do you have your questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to do this right. So the reason we're doing this a second time is because our first one we went live with Entertainment Weekly, we ended up having to start late because there was an issue logging in, and I know that some of you maybe missed it because you saw it was 2 o'clock and we weren't there. So we're so sorry for that. That was like a technical thing with this 2-factor authentication process where they had to like disable some security thing. Anyways, we're here now, so that's what matters. And I got my handwritten little list of questions. We said we were going to pick kind of 20 of the most popular questions that you guys have commented on both of our posts.
Yeah, and so just as so there are some questions that were very popular, but I feel like some questions like about real relationships on the show, some of those stories just aren't ours to tell. So even though that a lot of those got a lot of likes and are popular, some questions we will avoid.
Yeah, we'll answer the questions that pertain to us personally, and we'll try not to do for other customers.
Exactly.
Okay, so Cassie, how do you want to do this? I'll ask one, you ask one, you just go back and forth? Okay, so I know we both had this question. So what was the most challenging storyline for you to act out as Manny?
Maybe accidents will happen, or I can't remember what this episode was called, but it was about Manny trying to be an actress, and maybe it was like the Peter flashing one as well, but it's when she was too fat to be an actress.
Yeah.
Or the agent said that.
And I think agent has an awful thing about beans and rice or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like this like racial comment, and at the same time it was like it hit really close to home because I felt growing up I am a little curvier than the actresses that I went into rooms with and who were already on the show, and I felt it hit close to home. And when you're a teenager, it can do a lot to your confidence, and it's something you kind of just have to deal with as an actor, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
And how about you, Miriam?
I totally, I agree with you. Like, I think for me too, the hardest one was probably Emma's eating disorder storyline. And definitely the writers included a line there where Emma's commenting about, oh my God, no wonder I gained all this weight. And it's a triggering thing because you think, like, in a sense, as a teenager, you're kind of like taking that on, like, oh, have the writers been watching the episode and they've noticed this, and that's why they've like created this storyline. So I think, yeah, I mean, there were very sensitive issues that it's impossible not to like kind of take a little bit personally. So I think that one, and of course, like, I mean, a storyline like that, you want to do it justice. It's like such a prevalent issue, and I wish they could have fleshed it out for both our characters, because I think they kind of skirted over the fact that Manny had similar like issues, and I think they, like, for both characters, I feel like they could have fleshed it out more.
Yeah. Such is the writer's room. I just noticed that I'm matching my backdrop and you're matching your backdrop.
Oh my God, we are white and green. Look at that. When I went vertical, lost my framing. I was trying to be like more centered, but that's okay. I'll just like
put on some platforms, girl.
Oh, that's a good call. I should get like a little stool. Okay, what is your question for me?
Okay, that was my also first question, but we have extras, so. So Mark, do you have a pen? You should mark that down as one.
They're asking me if I had a pen. It's just like pass it through the phone to you.
Thank you. I was gonna say cross it off, but if you could change anything about your character's direction or something about your time on the show, what would it be?
Interesting. So I feel like I personally felt that when the college component of the show started for Emma and for Manny, I would have liked to do a redirect for Emma's direction. I know it was important to tell a story of someone that's having a hard time making the transition from high school into university and having trouble making friends and all that stuff, but I just felt that there was probably like a more maybe a more interesting way they could have gone with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of felt like that was like a little bit of a decline, in my opinion. So I wish that when Emma went on to university, there had been a little more, I guess, more development, but at the same time, it's a high school show, so I think it's kind of like the writers were stuck there. They're like, dang, these girls are too old for high school. Like, what do we do? And what about you?
One second. Before I answer, I'm just going to move my chair. It keeps like slowly drifting.
No, I know that. I keep going on your tiptoes.
Okay, I think this is better.
Yeah, you look spot on. Green on
okay, here we go.
Top of the white.
So for me, I think something I would change about my time at the show. Not really my character direction, because in retrospect, I feel like I had a lot of character development on the show. And I think that something I would probably change, like with my time, is maybe being more present while I was there. And I know that's very hard to ask of, a younger me, going through everything that we went through when we were on and off the show at that time. And the show just, I feel, it amplified things. The show is very dramatic. We were very close. It was just a very crazy, heightened emotional experience. But I think that if I could talk to my younger me, it's just, I know that things seem hard, but be thankful and present. And I feel like we all learn that at a much older age, and some people never learn it. But to be thankful and to be present and to just, know that things are going to be okay. And you might not have these opportunities later on. You might not have these friends later on. And I feel like I would just ask myself to be more in it. But I mean, what teenager is going to listen? So, but yeah, that's what I would say.
Your comment was reminding me of another question that was on my list. I just hope I can remember which one it was. Oh yeah, no, I think it was, you just prompted me to ask, what were your hopes and expectations when you started on the show?
My hopes and my expectations, I don't think I thought about any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't think Degrassi was going to be big. And I don't think when you're younger, I mean, when I started, I was 11. And personally, I just feel like you don't really think about those things when you're younger. That's something you pick up when you're older, like expectations and goals and hopes. And I think when you're younger, you're just like, you're kind of in the moment. I was always thinking about, does this person like me? Is she going to be my friend? Blah, blah, blah. Or is like what's going to happen with the show? Like what's going to happen with my character? And I didn't really have expectation. I more just had questions and wonder and, that boy's really cute. Like, and that's pretty much it. I was just as boy crazy as Manny, if not more boy crazy. So.
That segues into the other question. Are you similar to your character? But yeah, my answer would be the same for that one. Like, I feel like I too, it was one of my first acting jobs, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I'm going to get to miss a bit of school. I'm going to get to like be on TV and try this whole thing out, and knew nothing about what it was. Had a very, very vague inkling of what the original Degrassi was. I didn't even really I wasn't in any way fixated on the fact that it had like a legacy that we were kind of picking up on. I was just like, this is really, like, this is fun. I want to be an actress. And then 9 years later, we were still there.
Yeah. Okay, so, this one. So, what was something that we did on set, like we stolen or broken? We kind of went over this one, but
we did, yeah. So I broke a window accidentally.
Miriam punched through a window with her strength,
with my bare hand. This is also pairs with the most embarrassing moment on set, because we were filming the 80s dance episode when Emma gets home and she sees Spike and Snake kissing on the porch, and Manny and Craig had just got together in dance, and Emma was like just like all upset, and the director's like, so you're so upset, just punch the window, like I'm so mad. And I punched. He said punch the door, and I punched the window, and I had to get stitches, and I had to go to the hospital, and we had to shut down production, and that was something that I broke. And what about you?
Oh my God, feel like I must have done so many things, but I feel like if I say them out loud, they're incriminating because you didn't mean to do yours. No, I feel like I must have broke something. I ruined a pair of set pants, that's for sure, when we went in the ravine.
I was going to say that.
I think there was another pair of pants I ruined because I kicked over a paint can, being like rebellious, and the black paint got all over my pants.
I think we should tell them that the ravine is actually a real place, and we really did go down to the ravine.
Oh, yeah. I made a TikTok about this. I made a TikTok about this story about how you, Ryan, and who else? Well, Jake, and I think Sarah was with us.
Yeah.
I think Sarah was with us, but I'm not convinced because I mentioned the story to her and she did not recall. But so I think it actually was 4 of us, and we went down to the ravine during lunch, and it was a beautiful day. I think I was like 11 or 12 at the time, and they used to make us wear these big dress shirts over at lunch because they thought we were going to make a mess of our wardrobe outfits. And I'm like, oh, come on, please. Like we're just going to go. We're just going to explore. We're taking a walk, and we go down in the ravine, and there's this dried up creek. We're like, let's get to the other side, and we're crossing this log to get to the other side. And we get to the other side. It's great. It's whatever. We come back, and instead of going on the log, I jump down into this dry creek bed, and I start sinking in the mud. And I just told wardrobe I wouldn't ruin the shoes, and I was literally up to my knees almost. And I asked Ryan to grab a stick for me, and I'm like, oh my God, Ryan, grab that stick. And he's scrambling in a forest, and he grabs that twig. Remember? And I'm like, it's stick, Ryan, a stick. And I'm even deeper in the mud now. So finally, I was hoisted out, and I think I lost a shoe and in the ravine, and I had my muddy pants, and that was the last time they let me wear wardrobe out at lunch.
I forgot those dress shirts that they made us put on at lunch. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What are some other questions here? There was one. Someone asked, how did it feel to insult each other's characters in the episode where Manny and Emma didn't get along? Because we had some pretty brutal words to each other in some of the episodes. So how was that for you?
I mean, what were the brutal ones to you?
Well, I got brutal. I guess maybe that's the right word. But I just remember we had some fight scenes where Emma's saying she's going to be friends with the school slut, and Manny's saying Emma's a stuck-up prude princess. I remember that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the brutal words were to Manny.
Oh, they weren't really? They weren't me and you? Oh.
Well, I feel like they were towards, I don't feel like a stuck-up prude princess. I feel like at that time, I'm like, Manny could have said something more. Yeah. You know? I'm like, really? That's all you could think of? Like a stuck-up prude princess? But I knew that was supposed to make a hit. But how did I feel about those? Mm-hmm. I think at the time we were kind of joking about them, if I recall. A stuck-up prude princess. And you were like, I think it was funny at the time. I think what wasn't funny was other people repeating it when I went back to real high school.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I agree with you. It's not like we never really took what was happening with our characters. As soon as they would say cut, we just revert back to present day, present moment.
Yeah, I think it was more fun on set.
In the sense that okay, we're having a fight today, Cassie. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not going to talk to you. We shared a dressing room, so that for a couple seasons, right? We shared a dressing room.
Yeah, we did. Shared it for a couple seasons.
Yeah, we were sorry, I'm asking all the questions. You asked your questions too, but that just reminded me of someone asked about bonding. Was there a certain episode or something like that that made our bond stronger? And then my response to that was going to be, I think it was more so the time we spent offset, because we spent more time not filming, waiting around for them to do the setups and all that stuff. That's when we were bonding more so than speaking our lines.
Yeah, For sure. I think like lunches when we used to go for like walks or in the ravine and hang out, just like all of us. At one point we had like a Pac-Man machine. At one point we had like a pool table. At one point we had a ping pong table. Yeah. So I think our time off screen, and then we started hanging out off screen as well. I think. Yeah. I feel like there was like a time maybe that you went into high school where I feel like maybe there was like a shift. Mm-hmm. But I think like our episodes at some point brought us back because we were like working together a lot more. Like our characters had kind of had a rift, and like you went into high school, and I feel like sometimes the show did like bring us together and also put us apart, like bring us together more at some points. Mm-hmm. Like if we were individually not hanging out as much, and then we had an episode where where it was all together, it kind of brought our friendship back again.
For sure.
Yeah. So that was season 5. Do you have any more questions?
I do. Do you have more questions?
I do have lots of questions.
Asking. Yeah. Let's go.
It's okay. If you want to ask more questions, then you ask more questions.
Was there a scene or an episode that you hated? I'll expand on it. Or a outfit, or a hairstyle, or a day on set, or a trip, or anything that you just were like, oh.
I don't think like there were outfits that I really did not like. Maybe some like hairstyles. I don't think there was an episode
I didn't get brutal hairstyles.
No, I had like some funky ones, but in retrospect, I feel like I would enjoy them now. Like I once had this hairstyle with like, literally it was like a ponytail here, ponytails coming out.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was like a season 1 thing. I feel like season 1 was all about the multiple ponytails for like.
But but now I feel like I would like be it's so TLC or it's so 90s, and I would appreciate it now. But at the time I didn't feel it, but now I really like it. And I liked a lot of the color. And I went through like this huge punk rock phase, remember? Where I was wearing a lot of black and like very grunge. So my character just did not fit who I was.
And you changed your hair like a lot each season. You come back to something different.
Yeah, I came back with a mullet
once. The mullet. Oh my god, the mullet. The blonde bang.
I thought it was gonna be a very trendy mullet, and I don't think anyone knew how mullety it actually was, because they tried to make it not a mullet, so it just looked like this very uneven bob because they pushed my hair in the front.
Too much.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't think there's anything I really hated.
Yeah.
I don't, because I feel like acting it's just different moments, and some are more fun or funny, some you really have to dig deep, but I feel like we were given a lot. There's nothing I hated, really. I feel like I liked a lot of stuff. How about you? Is there something that you hated?
I mean, I think it's just like the little things, like definitely there was some of the hairstyles and some of that, like the outfits I was not the most keen on, but like you said, I think it also helped get into character, because we were just able to do like, the look that we wanted, the hair that we wanted, the makeup that we wanted, whatever the case. We wouldn't have been able to kind of like create as much of a character, so it totally helped. But like there were some cringe outfits, some cringe hairstyles. I remember there was a comment recently on something talking about like the crimper. I feel like Kai was the hairstylist who was into the crimper. She crimped my hair, she crimped Lauren's hair. I don't think she ever crimped her hair. I don't think so.
I really loved crimping. I still love crimping. Yeah.
I feel like now maybe like there'd be a way to like make it. I just remember it would be like, so let's have one ponytail here, and then we're gonna crimp that ponytail, and then we'll put another ponytail down here, and I would leave the hair chair being like, oh my god, so submissive. if I feel like I didn't have an opinion, I wasn't able to be like, actually, not so into that. So
we were young. I feel, I don't know. I feel like a lot of those funky things are really cool now.
No, it's absolutely true. Now I think a lot of them would be.
I'm gonna look at some of my questions.
Yeah.
So, one was, so I'm gonna do two right now. I'm gonna do one for you and one for me. So many fans were sad that Emma didn't end up with Sean instead of Spinner. That was one of the really popular ones. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, honestly, I think I was always like a Sean and Emma fan. I think that would have been amazing if they had come back together after like years apart and everything that they've been through. At the time, Danny Clark wasn't a part of the cast. I think there was one season when he made a choice that he wanted to pursue other things, as I recall. Again, I don't want to speak for him. So I think Sean and Emma should have ended up together. I think the Spinner and Emma thing, if I was the writers, I would probably say that they decided they're better as friends and separated, and then Sean returns from Afghanistan or wherever it was he shipped off to, and they reconnect. That's my thoughts on the matter.
Right. Okay.
And then the component to that for you would be, who do you think Manny should have ended up with?
Okay, I'll get to that in 1 second. I just wanted to do this one before I forget, because I got a lot of questions about this. So how did I feel about Manny's abortion episode being banned in the US? And I had a lot of mixed feelings about this. I felt very disappointed that it wasn't aired in the US, because I feel like it was so cutting edge, and I feel like a very real episode that should have been aired, like among like all of them being there. And I know it was a touchy, but it wasn't long after that before things started coming out, I feel. And I just felt, I don't know, it was a really big episode for me. I feel like it was my heaviest episode thus far in the series. And I was very disappointed, and I was really happy when it started coming out or it was viewable. But I feel like the harder storylines are the ones that you need to tell, or the ones that hit home, or the ones that people can relate to but are too afraid to say anything about. So I think that at the time I was disappointed, but I'm glad that it's out there now. Yeah. But of course now it's not doesn't have the wow factor, because a lot of storylines have since come out like that. But yeah, I'm glad that it's out now and viewable. So, and then who did I wish Manny ended up with?
Who do you wish?
I feel like, I mean, I love Jay and Manny.
Me too.
I really do. I think when I was younger, I really, really loved Craig and Manny. They were such like a volatile relationship. But as far as, looking back at some footage, I think that Michael Bell and I we just had a really fun time on set together. It was very relaxed. It was really fun to like play around with him. And I feel like that comes out when you watch our scenes. Yeah. Is that like it's relaxed? It feels more endgame to me than Craig and Manny, which was always volatile and unhappy. I really wish that they worked out, because I think the characters had a lot of chemistry. But Jay and Manny was definitely a good endgame, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That 100%. That's my favorite Manny relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike wanted to be on our live. Or no, someone said Mike should be on our live.
Oh, did they?
And I know Danny, we at one point we should like bring them in here.
Are they in here? I don't know. I just realized there's like,
I don't think they're on there right now, but we'll have to do another one.
Oh yeah, we should do another one. Okay. So I have another one that we've never gotten before.
Okay.
So what frozen food item are you? This fan said that she is a frozen spaghetti in an ice cream tub in the back of the freezer, and it made me hungry when I read it. So I felt like, you know what, I've never been asked this question before, and I think it's a good one.
It's a great one, but I feel like I need to give this a sincere thought. Why don't you answer first?
Okay, what frozen food item are you? I mean, that just sounds so good to me right now, like frozen spaghetti. Maybe I'm like, I feel like I'm like frozen chicken wings or something.
Frozen chicken wings?
Or some sort of like ribs or...
Yeah, I think you're a meat.
Yeah, I'm a meat for sure. Something you can throw in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Possibly like leftover red velvet cake, chocolate lava cake or something. But yeah, I think I am a meat.
I think so too.
Yeah.
My gut tells me that.
I think you're ice cream.
Okay, thank God, because that's the only thought that was in my head when I was thinking what frozen food item I am. I kept trying to be creative.
Or you're ice cream or frozen yogurt.
Depending on the day. How indulgent are you?
Yeah.
No, of course. And like they are one of my favorite foods, both of them. Two of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we touched on which storyline affected most.
I've got one. What do you think about friends growing apart? And I'm thinking most specifically, I loved how JT, Toby, Manny, and Emma were a 4-pack in the start, and they were always like together and stuff. And over the years, I kind of wish that those friendships had stayed a little more intact. What do you think about that in real life and in the show?
In real life and in the show, like that our friendship stayed intact.
Yeah,
like with us, like with the foursome.
Yeah, do you think that it's more realistic that those guys would have drifted, or do you wish that that original 4 that was like in that very first episode had stayed more like a tight knit group throughout all of the seasons?
I think that would be nice, but I think physically and also like emotionally at the time, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Toby and JT were very immature compared to Manny and Emma. Like they had like a lot of like funny storylines. I feel like our storylines kind of like, we had a lot of serious ones. Like I also had a lot of funny ones, like comic relief, like B plots. But I feel like, I think it was very natural for us to go apart, and I think that's kind of what happens with female and males within the same grades sometimes, because females mature a little bit faster than males, like physically and maybe emotionally. I felt like it was like a natural break, and I feel like we would have held each other's storylines back.
True.
Like we would have had to be more like take on a little bit more.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think there was a maturity difference in them for sure.
I mean, it would have been nice to have more of a pack that stayed together, but I just feel like it's more realistic, and that would have been more like a Friends type show about this group of friends. That I think it was very realistic within the character development. I wouldn't change it. Yeah. So, what episode of all the episodes, and I maybe we've touched on this before, but what was the episode, or actually I don't feel like we have, could you most relate to, of any of the episodes? Yours, mine, any character's episodes.
Could I most relate to? I think maybe my answer might not be what people kind of expect me to say. The one episode that I related to in a way was the episode where Emma finds out that Snake has cancer, and she's feeling this sudden like surge of protectiveness, and I think she's feeling like an appreciation for him that she hadn't felt before, and kind of a love. I think that just as far as coming from a personal and sincere place, I think I brought emotions that I carried as far as like feelings of empathy, watching like people close to me in my own life struggling. So I think in a way that I think a lot of people would kind of expect that I would say, oh, maybe it was Emma's eating disorder episode. Truthfully, that one, I do not think it was done justice. So I can't even, that is such a massive issue for me. I didn't think I was going to cry, but they know that my sister passed away after 15 years with a very serious eating disorder. So I think that the small way that the episodes glossed over it were, in my opinion, almost a disservice, because it's such a real thing, and there's a spectrum where you can dabble in an eating disorder the way Emma did, and you fight your way back after a matter of weeks, and then there's a point of no return.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Yeah, I think that, I mean, for me, like, the hardest episodes I felt were the eating disorder episodes. And I think for the same reasons, you know, everything that was going on with your sister, and just knowing in our industry how many people that are sick that there are, people that are close to us, it was some of the hardest, I think the hardest episodes. Because when people think about eating disorders and think about body image, they really don't see, unless you have someone close to you suffering tremendously, how bad it gets. And, you know, it was I think those were very tense episodes to film.
For sure. And I think, like, because now I'm emoting, I feel like I owe it a little more of an explanation. Yeah, and I think, like, for those episodes, it's not something I really talked about, my experiences in the early seasons with an eating disorder of my own that I thankfully was able to find the strength to battle back from. And it's not something I wanted to talk about, just mainly because I in no way would ever want to glorify something like that. But yeah, I think that these eating disorder episodes, yeah, like, I just, having gone through it so personally, I just really wish that more could have been done with them.
Yeah, I agree. And it was such a hard time because, yeah, like, now that you said it, you know, at that